But it would have been worth it.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, no, like comedy tickets are. I mean, shit, man. I mean, that is pricey. You better fucking go to that shit if you're paying for it. Um,
Oh, you bet your ass.
yeah. So,
I
yeah.
never been to a real. I never been to a comedy show in general, even a shitty one.
Well, wait a second. Define a shitty one so that amateurs don't get offended by you.
It'd be like when you did stand up. It'd be like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. So an open mic.
Yeah, like an open mic.
Yeah.
Like you're. It's all noobs.
Yeah,
You know?
dude. I fucking. I wish. I wish. I kind of wish I'd stuck with it at the time, but I didn't have enough. I just didn't have enough in me to stomach like double the rejection when it came to. Okay, so like when it comes to playing in a band, like you, of course, you and I have lived through this so many times, and in on several bands and nights uh, where we play a show, we put our fucking hearts into it, we put everything into it every fucking time, and sometimes we play to a good crowd, and other times we play to nobody, like literally fucking nobody, and sometimes we do that in the middle of Iowa, which we have done. And
To the bartenders.
yeah, maybe the bar, and the one guy who's sitting at the bar with his back turned to us.
Yeah. Didn't that guy wasn't he like hell yeah like
No, all he did when we were done playing, he just he did one single clap, and went woo.
oh yeah
Yeah.
so anticlimactic.
I think he was happy that we were done playing. Now that I think about it, like I don't think it was really applauding.
Yeah.
I don't think it was applauding our set. I think it was just him being like, "Great, I can go back to drinking in peace."
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck. Yeah.
No, fuck no. So we went to Iowa. We went all the way to Iowa to have band practice.
Yeah, well, we did that a lot, so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there were fun times with that though. I guess like the traveling aspect with it was pretty fun.
One thing I do miss is, even though I don't really drink anymore, and, I don't really know, I mean, if I was drinking, the way that I used to, I would have fucking wrecked myself by now. Because I'm so bad. I'm pretty bad at drinking. I just don't know when to fucking stop. And,
Yeah.
I have, a good personality, and, you know, but one thing I do kind of miss, though, is, being drunk in a place I've never been. There's just something, there's something magical about it. You know what I mean? You're just all drunk, and you're like, "Wah," yeah, and you look around, and you're like, where the fuck am I? And,
Yeah.
I have to go play music in front of these people I don't know in an hour, and I'm hammered. Oh fuck, woo, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I do miss that, but
Yeah. Oh no. That shit was so fun, and no, it's definitely a good time, because the thing is, I think what the thing is though too is once you realize that you're away from home, however far away it is, and you're not going home that night, and you're gonna be pressing onward to the next place, you just kind of you have no choice but to embrace it and just have a good time at that point. So, and yeah, it's for sure it's fun, and I mean you got one job, that day, and that's to play your instrument and play some songs. And the thing is, there have been a few occasions where we might not have really done that entirely. So, but there were not.
I don't know. I felt pretty good at it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we had a good track record. of doing it. But there were some nights where I know that we're just like a bit belligerent. Um, where like maybe it wasn't the best set that we played, whatever. But the thing is, it's like those are. It's kind of like in a way, it's a little bit of micromanaging within yourself, and because you know what sounds good, and you know how you wrote the songs, and you know, or like your parts in particular, and it's like you can be like fuck man, fuck, I fucked up, and you know, but more often than not, no one else is gonna fucking notice. So it's
No.
it's a funny thing. I mean, there are probably there's probably a few sharp ears in the room that would be like, I heard that, I heard him fuck up, but it doesn't matter, dude. I mean, like
It
we.
depends on what you do with it. If you're just like, if you fuck up and you're like, hey, I fucked up. You know, hey, everybody.
Yeah, right.
Like, I fucked up. Like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
And like, who gives a shit?
Right. You can't dwell on it especially while you're on stage. You gotta, you know, you gotta power through. See, JW, there it is, power through. No, you gotta fucking power through it, man. So, no, you just, if you fucked up, oh fucking well, just keep going. And yeah, and
Just
that's
like this podcast.
yeah. Oh, right. So just, you know, just keep going. Like, I already know that off this little sesh that we're doing, I know we forgot to really press on a couple of topics, but oh well, fuck it, dude. Like, that's just kind of like how our conversations go. Anyhow, we just keep fucking going. Um, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're talking about music. I was actually making a point about comedy, but we're talking about music.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Now it's too late. We're past the comedy thing. One thing I will say to end the comedy thing was because I was talking about when we were talking about stand up and me doing it, and the worst advice I took from somebody was from like the most well known local comedian in the room, and he and it was because I brought 20 of my fucking friends into this little tiny fucking room. I kind of stole the show a bit, and I was in, you know, I ripped jokes. I was telling jokes, and the ones that were really like killing were the ones about my disability. And I mean, fuck, dude, they were funny. Fuck them. And so, and I know they were funny because everybody in the fucking room were actually laughing, and like they were actually legitimately laughing. And so, you know, and yeah, and you know what a legit laugh is. And so this guy comes up to me after, and he's just saying like, he goes, yeah, you don't gotta do that. You don't gotta always like do jokes on your disability. And
What?
oh yeah, that was the very first piece of advice I got in stand up. And so I backed off on it, and I tried other jokes, and I fucking I bombed. I bombed every time after that. So it
Oh man.
yeah, and so that was like, you know, that bummed me out. I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, this guy got in my fucking head. And so, you know, I only learned that lesson after I quit, and it was just, you know, like I said, I did it for a month, and I'm like, I'm already in a band, and that's already kind of brutal right now, playing to fucking hardly anybody, and uh, yeah, and so it was just, it got fucking brutal, and so
I can't believe some guy had the nerve to walk up to you and be like, "You don't have to always talk about that."
yeah.
I don't know anything about comedy. Like, I'm not funny at all. But like, you know,
Well,
that guy was probably just, he saw you, and you know, he saw you making everybody laugh, and he was probably like, "Why can't that be me?"
Well,
Like,
the thing was, he was a dude who was going around. He was actually he was a guy that was actually going and traveling around the state. I think he would maybe go to like Ohio here and there, maybe, and do sets. I think he ended up opening for somebody. I don't remember who. He was. I don't think he really ended up doing anything. I don't know if he actually is still doing it. He had been doing it for quite a while back then. This was back in 2014, and so he had quite a few years under his belt already, and I watched him. I watched his set a few times. He didn't really. He hardly watched my set ever. So that was another thing where I'm just like, fuck you, and but he fucking. But I would watch him every fucking time because I wanted to. It's like all right, if this guy's giving me advice, I would like what the fuck's up with him. So and he did have a good flow. He actually had a good he knew what he was doing as far as doing like 8 minutes or whatever, and that's typically a time frame that you get at an open mic and shit like that, and you get 8 minutes roughly, and like that's kind of sometimes that's actually a generous amount of time. Um, there were times where where I was given like 10 minutes, and so I went over I mean I did go over one time too, but I guess it was fine, and so and it was just it was just like it was just that I should not have taken that guy's advice, and I think that's also a lesson learned too. Is that it's like it's good to take advice from others, but um but if you're taking advice from somebody who's really kind of like saying that your meat and potatoes are are a bit like overdone, uh, if someone's like saying that, then I think you kind of gotta like either take it with a grain of salt or whatever, and just be like well, I could listen to him, or what does my gut feeling say? Like, do I just stick to my guns? And my gut feeling did tell me to say to basically have that guy go fuck himself, but I listened to him out of just being a guy being a dude who's never done it before, just going into it and just seeing what happens, and just respecting the other people who actually really care about it, who've actually been trying to get into it. But they're no different from the local musicians you and I have been around over the years. It's the same fucking thing. So it's like imagining being very new to the music scene, not knowing a goddamn thing, and yet you're going, and yet I won't name names or anything, but like, I mean, I don't know, take like the stand. Yeah, take the standard local musician who doesn't really quite know everything, but he's got like a bit of a following, and uh and so he's got a bit of an ego going to him, and
Right.
he's all like, he's like, well, I got 35 people looking my way at what I do. Uh, so take it from me, kid.
35.
Yeah, take it from me, kid. Here, listen to me. This is what you do. If you want 35 people in your room, and yeah,
If you never want more than 35 people, listen to what I have to say.
yeah, and look. It's like you can either, there's a fine line into just wanting to do it for fun, not giving a fuck who's in that room or not, and wanting to fill up the room. And I think,
Right.
and for me, I'm always the guy that wants to fill up the motherfucker, every
Right.
fucking time,
Yep.
even if I know there's no fucking chance of it happening. But it's like that's what I strive for, because I love performing in front of as many people as possible, even if it makes me fucking nervous as shit. It's there's like a certain adrenaline rush to it, and it's just a fucking blast. So it's like, to me, I'd rather just fucking do that, and and plus it's a learning experience either way too. I don't know. I get off on that shit. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, I mean, because I don't know, that's just going off of just, I mean, like all the times I've played music and in bands in front of, how, I don't know, there's like hundreds to, yeah, hundreds of people to, like, like you and I doing, playing what the Jamboree Festival in Toledo, uh long fucking time ago. And I mean, shit, how many fucking people were at that shit when we played? And we opened it, and there weren't, I mean, there were a lot of fucking people there, but that was just the beginning of the fucking day. So
Yeah, it was probably like 500 or 600 people right in front of us.
I think it was at least 600 people. Uh, and yeah, it was, no, it was a big fucking. I mean, that was a big deal to us too. To play in front of that many people, and it, when you're playing to like that kind of, like to those kind of numbers, even though you can play in front of even like astronomical larger numbers, it's still just kind of like, holy fuck, this is a lot of people looking at us right now. Like,
dude, that shit is like a drug, man. Like, that shit is absolutely like a drug, you know? Like, why you would want to, yeah, like, why you would want to just keep playing to, like, 20 people when you can find a way to play for, like, that many people or more. Like, I don't know why. But, yeah, like you said, I mean, some people are content with whether you're a comedian, a musician, or whatever the fuck you do, performance-wise. Like, some people are content with doing it for fun and playing in front of, no more than like 30 people if you're lucky, and then other people just, they gotta have more, like us. Like, I can't just, like, I was doing that shit, like, when I was like 15, I was playing like cool shows, you know what I mean? So, like,
right.
I'm not trying to do the same shit I was doing when I was 15.